I rarely ever get 2023 vehicles in because they're still under warranty. But this one has voided the warranty. Let's find out why. Let's get started. This is a 2023 Audi SQ5. This customer's actually had another SQ5 in the shop before, and there is a link in the description below. You can go check out that video if you want to. This car is 1 year old. 1 year old. It has 104,000 miles on it. Can you believe that? Oh, and by the way, that reminds me, that's the name of the new channel that I'm going to be in. Me and my friend Thomas Durant have started a new channel on paranormal, aliens, UFOs, demons, ghosts, conspiracy theories, reptilians, all those crazy tinfoil hat ideas. You're going to see a whole new side of the car wizard you never knew existed. You're going to have to go watch those videos to check them out. It's October 1st. Just keep watching the videos. We'll let you know when that time comes that those videos are going live. Now back to this SQ5. And yes, that's right, the warranty is voided. Usually they have 30,000 or 60,000 mile warranty or whatever. As far as the bumper to bumper warranty, the warranty's over on this thing. It's only 1 year old. Isn't that crazy, guys? In the previous video I just mentioned, there's another 2019 SQ5 that had over 200,000 miles on it. The customer did inform me they've had this recently in to an Audi dealership, and they checked their records nationwide. And they said this is the highest mile 2023 SQ5 in the entire nation. There is not a single one higher. 104,000 miles. Let's take a look around this thing. We're going to put it on the lift and see how's it faring with this many miles. Because usually I tell people with Audis, Mercedes, BMWs, when they get to 100,000 miles, they usually start going to pot and it starts costing you a lot of money. But this isn't the case on these because the miles are accumulated before they're barely even a year old. So let's take a look around it. I have a feeling the only issue we're going to find with this vehicle is splatted bugs all over the front because it's been driving it all over all those miles. It has the black grille, kind of a dark color headlamps, and it is in very, very nice shape. Like I said, I don't think we're going to find a lot wrong. As we go along the side, let's check out what size wheels these are. Those are 21s, guys. No scrapes or anything on them. They look nice. I think the last vehicle we had in was the exact same color. Exact same spec, really. SQ5, you can see the emblem there. And this is another one of those we mentioned on the previous video. These exhausts are fake. We'll put it on the lift and we'll show you. That's just for show. It's plastic. That's not even an exhaust tip. Kind of weird, isn't it? And down that side, equally as nice. Very, very clean car. Let's go ahead and hop under the hood. Here we go. That's really nice that they put the ECM right up front up there. Look at that, guys. If you ever have ECM trouble, it's very, very easy to get to it. This is a 3-liter, and Danielson's already inspected it and he found really no issues. We're going to do a double check on that and just see, with 100,000 miles at 1 year old, what does it look like? Go ahead and pull this off. We can see it has a turbo in the valley. Where's the intake manifold, guys? It's on the sides where you would think the exhaust manifolds are. It's completely backwards from what you're used to. The exhaust comes out where the intake used to be on most engines and runs this turbo. It's actually a very ingenious design. It's really cool. But I've had a few people, we've had these cars in and they look at it and they're like, where the hell's the intake? And I show them where the intakes are on the exhaust side, where we think the exhaust would be, and they just scratch their head. They're like, what? It's very, very strange in that way as well. Everything's good up here, no serious leaks, all the fluids are good. We just did an oil change on it. Let's let Mrs. Wizard show you guys around the interior. 100,000 miles in 1 year. What does it look like? Let's find out.
There it is, 104,249 miles. Really, 104,000, isn't that insane, in just a year's time? Let's go ahead and take our hand off our light there. Simple gauge cluster, obviously it's very digital, so we don't really see a whole lot until we turn the engine on, and well, we're not doing that today. The dash, great shape, a little bit of dust, but maybe that's about it. We can see it's No cracks, no problems up there. A very large infotainment screen with lots of fingerprints. Would love for them to invent a way to make those things where the fingerprints don't show up so much. As we move down, you'll see we have a carbon fiber strip where it does come in and say Quattro. But lovely accent to the car, and everything is basically in this center section. So we have our radio, we have our HVAC controls, we have our push button for starting. Obviously we have our power port, which obviously he would definitely be using with this many miles in the car. Little hidey hole there with a little bit of dust. Of course, a phone charger, gear selector, and a cup holder there as well. So look at the seat. It does have nice diamond stitching in the center section with the S embossed into that center section below the headrest. But in the passenger seat, you'll see he has a notebook, and if we were to open this up, you would find all of his service records. And we did this for the last one that came in. And you know what we found in it? Oil changes and tires. Tires and oil changes and tires. Yeah, with this many miles on the car, that's what he's putting most of his time into. He's not having to replace anything crazy yet. As you look at our door card, you'll see that it's gray, gray, and gray, gray, but it has different textures. We have hard plastic, we have the carbon fiber, we have some leather, and we also have some Alcantara as well. So, nice design. Definitely isn't just the sea of gray, even though it kind of is. It definitely looks nice and presents well. The back seats, they look new. I don't think they had anybody writing back there on those 104,000 miles. Everything's great, but again, we have more diamond stitching on the two outer seats with solid in the center with an armrest in between. As we look at the headliner, it does have a very large open spot where we could have a nice panoramic roof as well, but it is closed at the moment. We're at the steering wheel, and of course it has all the buttons and things we have to have for today's cars where we have to have every control within finger's reach, but there they are with our lovely Audi symbol in the center. So enough of this interior talk. Let's get this on the lift. I'm really curious, what does it look like on the underneath?
Let's see if the underneath looks like 100,000 miles. Let's take a look. Here's this nice, kind of a carpeted, kind of a fabric panel, it feels like. Everything's nice and dry. Let's go ahead and check out our wheels. Brakes are nice and thick. CV boots are good. Ride height sensor is intact. There's one thing that a lot of shops actually fail to check when they do a quick inspection. They'll check ball joints and do all those things like that and completely blow past the ride height sensors. These little arms can break. Let me show you. They're plastic. I can flex it with my finger. They get brittle and they can break, and then it messes up the headlight system or ride control, all those different things. So everything looks good there. Nothing's loose. I don't see the strut's not leaking. Go to the other side. With 100,000 miles, if there's going to be an issue, I would have anticipated around here, maybe brakes or CV boots or something, but I'm not seeing anything. Boots are good. Strut is dry. The little ride height sensor's intact and nothing's loose. Everything's good there. Here's a little tray right underneath the transmission. Everything's dry there, no leaks. Got a nice little kind of a rubber isolator there, no fluid coming out. Everything looks good there. So you remember I talked about the exhaust. It has those fake little exhaust tips on the back. The last video had the same thing that we did on the 200,000 mile one. It's very weird. But here's our exhaust. It's two, and it goes into one right here, kind of a resonator chamber. And before we get to the back, let's take a look at our differential. No leaks going on there. Ride height sensor is good. Brake pads, let's take a look at those. Yeah, they're nice and thick. Shock is not blown out. Everything's nice and tight. Sway bar link is good. Sway bar link is good. Brakes are good. Everything's looking good back here. Ride height sensor. Yep. Now let's finish up with that exhaust. Comes to two again here. Comes to this muffler. It does have dual tips, but they're right here. Not up here. We can see the back side. There's no exhaust connecting to that. It's right here. Look at this, guys. This isn't even our exhaust. This is. So it's kind of just a deceiving thing. It's just for looks. Kind of weird. So just like Mrs. Wizard mentioned, tires and oil changes is the secret to what this guy's achieving. Let's check the date codes on the tires. 49th week, 2023, towards the end of 2023. So the new tires that were on the car when the car was new probably ran out towards the end of 2023. And so these are the new tires that replaced it, and they're good for a long time, but this guy puts a lot of miles really quickly. So the tires may wear out faster than we would expect. Let's get this thing back on the ground. So this SQ5 is doing very well, no serious issues, no leaks. Most of the time I recommend, like I mentioned, at 100 to 120,000 miles on an Audi, BMW, Mercedes, Volkswagen, any of those cars like that, you probably should look for another vehicle, because it's about that time that a lot of things start leaking, breaking, electronics start failing. But that's usually a combination of two things: miles and years. It's obvious you could accrue those kind of miles on one of these cars in 1 year and it'd still be like a brand new vehicle. But when 5 and 10 years go by, it's usually how long goes by the time one of these cars reaches those high miles. This one just happened to do it very, very quickly. Now, how long will this car last? If he's doing 100,000 miles in a year, it may be 2 or 3 years and it's time to get rid of this thing. Because I just don't know many SQ5s that have 400, 500, 600,000 miles on them. So I don't know, it's yet to be seen. I've never seen this kind of scenario before, except for the vehicle before that this customer brought in with 200,000 miles on it. You could say, get a Toyota, it lasts a long time, lots of miles. 100,000 miles in a year wouldn't even faze a Toyota, but do you want to sit in a Toyota that many miles in that short a time? Yes, they last forever, but they're not the most stylish or pretty cars, and sometimes it can be a little uncomfortable. Some people say they're bland and boring. It's just kind of a decision you'll have to make. Obviously, this customer is doing just fine with all the miles, but they're probably not going to get 20 years out of this vehicle. It's just the matter of fact. If you're curious what kind of tools we use to work on this or any other car in the shop, check our Amazon affiliates link in the description below. If you purchase anything there, we get a small cut and really appreciate it. Make sure to hit the subscribe button here, because there's many more cool videos to come. And don't forget, guys, here soon, October 1st, is the new paranormal channel. Can you believe that? Thanks for watching.